everyone, I'm Esmeralda Padilla-Gould and welcome to Vegas Vibes. On Vegas Vibes, I'll be featuring amazingly talented people from many walks of life who contribute to making Las Vegas a unique global brand. And on that note, I have here with me Miss Loni Andal. How are you, Tita Loni?
Oh, very well. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to have you. Well,
it's not like we don't know each other. We know each other.
Yes, we know each other from the Filipino community. Because you're one of the well-respected and trusted community leaders, Filipino American leader. And I would like to read this one. Miss Loni Andal is a phenomenal singer back in the 1950s that continued on for 4 decades. Her hit single, Summer Valentine, was on the Billboard Top 100 worldwide. The very first Filipino American signed to the Columbia Records label, as well as the first Filipino American to have her own showroom on the Las Vegas Strip. Wow, how did you do that?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But when you start out, and I started out when I was 5. So I was doing kiddie shows.
Yes, you were actually a child star on CBS television.
Yes. And that's when they would have all these musical comedy shows, and of course featuring the children, very much like the Mouseketeers.
Did you audition or were you discovered?
You know, I think because the school I was attending a dance school, a musical dance school, and everybody would enroll their children to learn a little music, a little singing, a little dancing, you know. And my mother enrolled me to become a tap dancer. To this day, I do not tap dance. But my tap dance teacher would say to her, she can sing. And my mother was like, she can't sing.
Your mother did not know.
No, she did not know. So he said, let's get to the piano. And I was 5 years old, and he started to play a song called Them Their Eyes, which I had been rehearsing with him. And my mother was flabbergasted. She says, you do sing. Well, my dad and I would sing all the time. So when my dad was off, he would teach me songs, and that's how I knew I wanted to sing, but it was a secret because Mommy wanted me to do tap dancing.
So your father sang?
Yeah.
And your father was a Filipino?
Mm-hmm, from Taal, Batangas.
And your mom was?
Russian German.
Wow, what a nice combination.
Yeah.
Well, so have you always wanted to sing?
Well, I didn't know that it was something that everyone didn't do, or I didn't realize that I was doing something special, because I always liked to sing, I enjoyed it. And when I was small, the idea that from a little kid came this big voice, then I'd be pulled in to do shows, very much like here, benefits, the Jerry Lewis Telethon, shows in New York, and then I was in The King and I on Broadway. So before you know it, you don't know that you're doing something different than the other children.
So what really encouraged you to pursue that career? Because I know you were born and raised in New York, mm-hmm. and you perform in all the mm-hmm. 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
In New York. So tell us about that. How was that experience like?
Well, I'll tell you now, when you're in New York, it's like you need to get these gigs and get showcased and have exposure. And fortunately for New York, you have that. You have the nightclubs. You have, at that time it was called open mic, like not we have here, but would be like that night you can showcase your talents, you can sing, and then in the audience could be record producers, television people. So we'd find out in the show business paper where the next nightclub was holding these. And I was about 14, and I was making my way through all the nightclubs, and by the time I was 18, I was appearing at the Living Room nightclub, which was like the very chic-y type of place in Manhattan. And then I was on tour with different comedians. In fact, I just made a list of some of the comedians that I worked with, and it seems like all the comedians have named Jackie. So I was with Jackie Cooper, Jackie Cannon, Jack Carter, and then I just traveled. I just traveled the world.
Was that easy for you to do? I mean,
No.
You were a multiracial. I mean, was that? I know there was a lot of racism back then.
There is. I was just doing an answer question with Zen. You know Zen, and
yes, Ms.
I think
Luna.
she was like, I think a little bit emotionally upset with my response only because she didn't expect it to be coated with prejudice and lots of rejection. In the 50s, Asian people were not the popular race of people, especially if you were biracial, and you did feel it. In the 50s, when you were a small child and people looked at you, they either thought you were Spanish. In my case, they thought I was Hawaiian. And there was a family that said to me, "Oh, you're Hawaiian." I said, "No, I'm Filipino." I mean, I was a little spit of a thing, and I was like, "No, I'm Filipino." The thing is, when I was a child, my dad and we spoke Tagalog and Castilian Spanish. I didn't speak English. And when my mother went to enroll me in school, the teacher said, "No, she does not speak English." And to think today, if you are speaking several languages, what a plus that would have been. So my mother brought me to a tutor, and the whole summer I had to learn English in order to start in September. And then I lost it. We weren't living in a Filipino community or an Asian community in New York, and my dad was at work every day, so you lose it. It's literally, if you don't use it, you do lose it. But I did speak Tagalog, wrote in Spanish, and had the language right there because it was natural. When a child is that young, it's so natural for them to speak in the language that they're taught. And my dad had taught me Tagalog. But my mother was Russian German, and she was like, "No, she has to speak English." So, but you do get exposed to a lot of people that were not accepting of biracial couples, nonetheless a biracial child. Until I was about 13, 14, and I was doing very well in school, and I was in all the musicals, anything artistic in school. I think I spent more time in school than home after hours, because then they'd have the dance club and the acting club, and I was there. And that's the thing that set me apart. It set me apart because that was my out. That was my companion. That was my best friend. Because when you don't have it in real life, then I think something inside me kicked in to preserve my sanity, to have my music as my best friend.
It's wonderful that you were able to face that challenge and you were able to come out and be one of the greatest artists of your time, right? Fast forward. Last June 2nd, you had a comeback. That's a very memorable day for you, and I was there to witness it. I opened for you, and it was truly an honor. Thank you so much for that opportunity.
No, thank you.
Well, having said that, you were given a standing ovation from the moment you walked in and from the moment you put down the microphone. How did that feel, coming back and having that kind of welcoming? It was very well accepted by our Filipino American community.
I think the whole thing says it in the song. My first song was called Feeling Good, and I chose that song especially because coming back, it was like I must have known that the people would have been welcoming. I knew most of the people there, so I knew they weren't going to throw tomatoes at me, but still the whole thing was I'm feeling good. And that was the song, that was the message, that was the feel, and I think that's why they responded. Each of those songs, when you're putting together a show, it meant something to me because I've done those songs 30 years ago. Feeling Good, people think that Nina Simone made it popular.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling Good was written by Anthony Newley and Leslie Brickus, who did Smell of the Crowd, Roar of the Grease Paint on Broadway. And Anthony Newley wrote What Kind of Fool Am I? He's a fantastic, fantastic songwriter, was a fantastic songwriter. And I was doing that song in 1966. So it's not really a new song, but I wanted to feel good, and the audience didn't like me. At least I had the song, to sing. So, every song meant something to me. I've done it in my shows. I was doing it because I was trying to keep a storyline through the whole thing, not just an assortment of songs, but take them through a journey with me. That's what I felt with my music. So, it was memorable. It was memorable for sure.
Are you working towards repeating the accomplishments of having another Billboard 100 hit single? Because I know you're a singer-songwriter as well.
Well, you never know. The world is out there, and I'm coming out of retirement. I've been part of the just regular community service leader, participant. I never thought that I would have this opportunity again. In show business, when your time is done, your time is done. You don't really ever have a chance to come back and do it all over again. And I seem to have done it all over again. So right now, my partners and I, we are working on a huge concert. So
Oh, wow.
be on the lookout for one more time.
Miss Loni Andal is back.
She's back. This is what you do when you're a senior citizen. You don't sit down, you don't give up, you keep on going ahead.
Yes, keep pursuing your
Yeah.
dreams. Don't stop. Right?
You want to know how old I am?
That's my next question. I could not believe that. Are
69.
you 69? Oh my God, you look amazing.
That's the Filipino side. That's the Filipino side. But it's like when people say, my God, you're making a comeback. And I'm like, well, I feel like I should be like 89. But here I am 69, so I'm still enjoying this moment. And that I can have it again. Yeah, this feels good. Like the song says, feeling good.
Well, I wish we had more time because I have so many questions to ask.
Part 2.
Part 2, yes. But for my last question, what pieces of advice or words of wisdom would you like to share to all our global audience and, of course, Las Vegas?
Well, I think I'm proof that as long as you dream it, you can make it happen at any age, at any time, and it's the greatest ride you can ever have. Last year, if you would have asked me, are you going to do a concert in 2018, I'd probably just be laughing. That wasn't in my horizon, and now it's given me another zest, a kind of flutter that usually you don't have unless you have a heart problem at my age. But you feel like, okay, let's do this one more time. So that's the enjoyable part. Don't give up dreaming.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Loni Andal.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best.
And you'll be there.
Yes,
because I'm going to make
absolutely.
sure you're with me.
I'm here to support you all the
Thank
way.
you.
Thank you, Miss Loni Andal. Thank you, everyone. Catch me again next time. But before that, I would like to thank my clothes sponsor, Anne Fontaine. They are located at the Forum Shops inside Caesar's Palace. Look for Miss Anna Billings. Catch me again next time. I'm Esmeralda Padilla-Gould as I feature another amazing, talented personality here from Las Vegas. Thank you.